I didn't think slow running was working until this happened. Do you ever feel like you're doing everything right in your training, but you're still not improving? That was me. I ran slow. I followed heart rate. I stayed patient. And week after week, nothing. No faster, no lighter, no breakthrough, until one day, everything changed. I didn't add speed work. I didn't diet. I didn't train harder. I just kept going. And when I least expected it, the results kind of hit me like a freight train. I really wasn't expecting it. This is the comparison and proof that slow running works. And if you're feeling stuck, then you may need to see this. 3 months ago, I ran at a 10K pace that honestly really frustrated me. I was doing everything right, or at least I thought I was. Slow running, pay attention to heart rate training, be consistent, but I literally just felt still stuck in the mud. But fast forward to July, same distance, same heart rate, but something major happened. And this is the story of 2 runs, April and July, and what those 3 months, those 90 days taught me about patience, progress, and why running slow works even when you think it does not. In April, I went out for a 10K run. Nothing fancy, just a base building effort at my usual low heart rate. And it took me 1 hour and 24 minutes. That's an average pace of about 824 per kilometer. And my heart rate was around 143 beats per minute. I wasn't struggling, but I really wasn't moving either. Like, I felt like I was jogging through molasses. And honestly, I started to wonder if the slow running approach was even helping. But I stuck with it, no intervals, no tempo runs, but sticking to the process. I didn't have a lot of time to run as work was, extremely busy. I was stressed out with life. My family's health issues continued to get worse. My wife still didn't have a diagnosis. My mother-in-law was now in long-term care home. I was having issues with myself. So many problems and not enough solutions. And I was kind of in a bad place, but I was just holding it together by the skin of my teeth. But then came July. Look, I used to think that in order to get faster, I had to suffer the harder intervals, the redlining, pushing every single run, worried about missing a run or the thoughts of overtraining. Look, I was burned out. I was stuck in the same pace. And honestly, I kind of hated running. So I made some changes to my training and day-to-day life. I ran slower, like literally way slower, like painfully slow. I started meditating, I started journaling and doing deep breathing. I also started reading books again. And what happened next kind of shocked me. And here came the July surprise. It was the same route, different conditions. It was actually harder conditions because it's warmer. It was the same low heart rate, but this time I finished in 1 hour and 15 minutes. My average pace, 7:33 per kilometer, and that's 51 seconds faster per kilometer than April. And here's the kicker. My average heart rate was 144, virtually identical effort, but way more speed. That's what aerobic development looks like. That's what low heart rate training delivers if you stay patient. The data doesn't lie. Let's look at the charts. April versus July, every single kilometer was faster in July by a lot. Now look at the heart rate, almost flat across both runs. Same cardiovascular effort, improved output, but here's the real eye-opener. The pace improved, right? The pace improved. Between kilometer 4 and kilometer 8, I gained nearly a full minute per kilometer. Like, that's not random, it's not luck. That's aerobic efficiency, building quietly in the background. So what changed between April and July? Nothing dramatic. I kept running 2 to 3 times a week, always in my aerobic zone. Yes, I added strength training once a week. I didn't rush it. I didn't chase speed, no hard workouts, no magic tricks, just consistency, recovery, and patience. Look, over the 3 months, I ran a total of 36 times. It's not a lot. And I rode my bike 9 times for a total of 358 kilometers or 223 miles running and 46.9 hours of training. I also rode for 151 kilometers or 95 miles, totaling 13.2 hours. This was the lowest amount of training I've done in a long time, but I saw the biggest improvement? Is it because I've built a strong base over the years, or is it just that I started cross-training more? How about that I've worked on reducing my stress level over the past 8 months, the cutback on coffee, the 7+ hours of sleep I now get, or the biggest factor, I've cut the junk out of my diet. I'm eating healthier than I have for years. I don't fully know. It could be that I'm hydrating way better over the past number of months than I have before. You see, there's so many factors that affect running performance, like how much weight I actually have, how much I've lost, the consistency plus time plus distance equals results. You see, there's a lot of reasons why a runner improves, and each person is different. You can even be different from a few years ago to where you are now. So stop judging yourself, focus on what you can do, because in 90 days, something great will happen, or it won't, unless you take action on something. So why does this matter? If you're watching this and you're thinking, I'm slow, I'm stuck, I'm not improving, I've been there. It's frustrating. But progress doesn't always feel fast. Sometimes it builds in silence until one day the numbers tell a different story. This is that day for me. And if you keep showing up, your day is coming too. Look, I'm documenting my whole journey, every run, every insight, every step forward. So if you're on your own path, whether you're starting over or trying to break through a plateau, hit subscribe, follow along, drop me a comment and tell me how your training is going and what's working with you or what's not. Let's prove together that slow running works, even when it feels like it's not. So what this run represented was a standard base building 3 months. That's what these runs look like. It was just exactly what needed to happen. It's exactly what base building looks like. And I'm just kind of looking at my computer because I've got it right here. So yeah, I mean, really at the end of the day, this was a textbook base building run. And if I'm stacking 3 to 5 of these per week with strength training, I'm certainly on a path to serious gains in pace, weight loss, and endurance. The heart rate is the red line, and it's gradually climbing, and it's reflecting my normal aerobic drift. My pace, which is the blue line, staying fairly consistent, even improving in the last couple of kilometers. This is a strong sign of aerobic efficiency. I was able to hold my pace while my heart rate climbed only slightly with continued base training. There's a big difference from April to July, specifically in Ontario, Canada. And when I did my run in April and then I did my run this July, those 90 days, those 36 runs that I did made a significant impact on my pace while running at the same low heart rate. Yes, your heart rate can fluctuate by a couple of beats up and down, but it's standard textbook training run, base building. This is how you do it. It works. And yeah, my cadence was a lot slower than I would have liked, but look, here's the thing. I've used slow running, Maffetone Method based types of runs, zone 2, standard textbook runs for the majority of my training over the last number of years. Yes, there's been a couple of ups and downs in those years where I didn't really run very much. Things happen in life, and that's what happens when you're a runner, right? I'm not a professional runner, right? I don't have all the time in the day to just go out and do these things. This is what I do for my health, for my well-being. And to see my efficiency over the last 3 months with where I'm at, I'm honestly grateful and I'm happy to see things are improving so much more now than they were earlier on in the year, despite how hot it is right now. April, it's cold. Right now, it's hot. Can you imagine where I'll be when it cools down, where my pace will be at the same heart rate? I mean, it's ludicrous to see how this works. But, when you're comparing the two runs, I mean, the numbers don't lie. 8:24 average pace in April to 7:33 per kilometer in July, right? Average heart rate, 143 versus 144, right? It was an hour and 24 minutes basically to an hour and 15 minutes basically. Honestly, I couldn't have asked for anything better, right? Now, there are some takeaways, right? So yes, my aerobic engine has improved between April and July, specifically by 13% in just 3 months, with my heart rate basically unchanged. This is exactly what MAF and base training should do. Build more speed at the same effort. That flat heart rate line through the middle kilometers is textbook efficiency. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because the trend is headed in the right way. I mean, if you compare April versus July, and you can see in these charts, what a difference with my pace and what a difference with my heart rate. Yes, again, my heart rate may have been a little bit higher in July, again, because it's a lot hotter, but the improvements per kilometer per minute per kilometer is there, right? I'm seeing it and I'm experiencing it. And, when you're looking at this and you're trying to figure out, what is a takeaway that I can do on this? Look, here's the thing. After 3 months, I'm more efficient at the same heart rate, significantly faster runner. My aerobic fitness is climbing. My MAF style training is working. I'm on track for continued improvement. So at the end of the day, whether it's a little bit higher with heart rate, whether it's a little bit lower, whether I'm running, being really strict and only running in that zone. Look, here's the thing. Whether you're running slow or whether you're running a little bit faster, at the end of the day, does it really matter? As long as you don't get injured, because injury starts to cycle all over again. And that's something that I am doing. Well, that's something that I'm trying to avoid. And so far, it's working. So if you're still on the fence about low heart rate training, specifically Maffetone Method or Zone 2, Cavarvan formula, like all these things, if you're on the fence, don't be. Jump over to the other side because, so what if you're running slow? Does it really matter? Right? The haters are going to hate. Doesn't really matter to me. They can say whatever it is that they want. But here is the proof, undeniable proof that running slow works over time. As long as you're consistent, as long as you're putting in the miles. Yes, there are some other caveats to it, but that's something that I can get into in another video, which I will in the next couple of weeks. Look, I can go on and tell you how amazing slow running is and how much it's done for me and all of that, but then there's going to be some other YouTuber who's going to say, wait a minute, hold on. No, man, intervals is the way to go. You got to run fast to be able to, get fast, or you need to train, your anaerobic system, or look, HIIT workouts are the way to go, or whatever. I don't care. I'm me and they are them. Everybody is different. Just like when you step up to take an at-bat, you're going to sit there and you're going to look that pitcher right in the eye, and then you're going to take that swing. And as you take that swing, you're going to either hit it or you're not. But it takes practice. And if you look over there, there's batting cages, right? So people go at bat and they try to hit the ball over and over. And then the pitcher comes and he throws the ball and he practices pitching every single day. That is what running is for me. It's practicing every single day. And when you put in the reps, you slowly start to see improvement. It doesn't happen on day 1 and it won't happen on day 30. It may take a long time. You may have roller coaster rides up and down and up, all that kind of stuff. But if you don't give it a go, if you don't give it the time, you're never going to know if it works for you or not. That's why I make these videos. That's why I show people that yes, it works. Yes, there's lots of things that happen in life. Yes, I was miserable in April and yes, it really sucked. But here's the thing, that's just a moment in time. Things change. It doesn't always stay the same. It doesn't always stay bad. It doesn't always stay good. There's these moments in your life where things change. You're presented with obstacles. You're presented with struggles. And it's a learning opportunity to be able to work your way through those things. You will always learn something about the process. You will always learn something about whatever the lesson is being taught. You may not see it. I may not see it at the time, But if you look back like I did on the last 90 days, it didn't take a lot of running to get to where I am today. Is it because I have a good base, like I said? Maybe. Maybe it's just all those other things that I've just talked about. But you just don't know unless you start experimenting and trying and picking apart your training to see what works and what doesn't. 80-20 is fantastic if you want to go that road. If you want to stick and just keep working at building that aerobic base to be able to get faster, then maybe that is what you need to do. Look, I'm no coach. I am no doctor. I'm no physiologist, and I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a guy who tries things. I'm a guy who likes to experiment. And then when I'm ready to go out and run that marathon or that ultra marathon that I know I always keep talking about. But when that time comes, I know my body inside and out. I know what it needs. I know when it needs it. Look, I'm not going to go to a lab and spend the thousands of dollars, because it's expensive here in Canada, right? There's thousands of dollars to do a lot of these tests. Hey, unless somebody just wants to gift me something, then yeah, I'll take them up on it. But as it stands at the moment, I like to experiment, and I'm just an experiment of one to figure out what works and what doesn't. Like I said, standing on a baseball field, no one's here. But I'll tell you, if someone was, they'd be pitching, and they'd be hitting, they'd be fielding, and they'd be practicing, just like we do every morning when we go out for our run. It's up to you. What do you want to do? All I know is after 90 days, that is proof, undeniable proof, that running slow does build up a strong aerobic base. And I'm happier than happy can be that it's worked for me more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. I keep showing up and I keep proving to myself that this works. It really does. And when the time comes that I need to add in the speed work because I'm training for that race, then I will add it in. But until that time, base building for me, I don't know. I don't know if it's meditative or whatnot. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes I just can't stand doing it. Sometimes I need to run a little faster to get the legs going just at the end of a run. Sometimes you just want to get the cadence picked up a little bit. Sometimes you just want to go run on a trail and do something different. But just because you're running on a trail doesn't mean that you need to run fast, because the hills are going to slow you down. And that's okay, because sometimes a little cross training goes a long way. Like I always say, get out and run. See you on the next one. My name is David, and I've been using slow running, aka the Maffetone Method or Zone 2, to build a strong aerobic base over the last 5 years. I've completed an ultramarathon. I stopped running. I experimented with all kinds of other things in between to see what works, what doesn't work with nutrition, with sleep, with hydration. These are all my experiments that I do to see what it does for my body and to get stronger. So if you're into any of those types of things, follow along. Whether you're new or coming back, I appreciate you being here. And if not, maybe just think about liking the video, commenting, and maybe even subscribing.